what we're trying to do today is take our sessions on a bit of a journey where we start off at the beginning of the day with event organising 101, and then every session is about picking up some new information so that hopefully, but if you were to sit here from the beginning to the end, you'd have a really good idea on how to organise an event, or at least how to organise an event slightly better by the end of it. Two things about that. One is we know you already know how to do that, but it does help every now and again to be proven right through our speakers, and maybe to learn some extra things. Also, you might not have been able to come to all of our sessions, so just to let you know that all of our sessions, all the PowerPoints are available, but we've also asked all our speakers to sort of do top tips. And what we're doing is we're putting them all into a PDF that will be sent to you at the end of the day, or at latest tomorrow morning, depending on how quickly we can get that stuff out. So just so you know, that's all coming. We're moving on to marketing. So far, we've done Events 101. We've done resilience, which is really important for organising events, sustainability and AI. But the reality is we need to get people into the room. So I've got such pleasure in introducing Alison, who's going to talk a bit more about yourself very shortly. Yep. But in the interest of us being nice people all the time, can we get a round of applause for Alison, who's going to take us from there? Thanks, Alison.
Just start on there.
Go.
Yeah, okay. So thank you very much for having me. I hope you can hear me. Yep, cool, thank you. So welcome to a 30-minute session on considering the sensory side of the events we all run and host, and how we can unleash this emotive power via marketing, event delivery, and communications. So I'm Alison Griffin, I'm the Managing Director at Telford International Centre. I've been at the venue for 12 years, the last 5 as Managing Director. As a venue, we're a member of the Association of Event Venues, and I sit on the board of directors, this so that I can be a sort of influence for the future of the business events industry. I think that's something that we can all sort of be a part of to advocate for large business events. So in 30 minutes today, I want to talk you through a very brief intro to Telford International Centre. It's not an advertorial, it's just to set the context for the marketing piece. I want to talk a little bit about identifying emotions and human touch points within an event to enhance both your marketing and delegate experience. I'd like to talk through some practical and sensory techniques in marketing campaigns. And as mentioned by Alistair, I want to close on 5 top tips for the events that you place, create and direct. So you may already be aware of Telford International Centre. However, if I can give you just a quick brief overview. We're centrally located in the West Midlands, not far from Birmingham, in the new green and cosmopolitan town of Telford. We're a 40-plus-year-old venue, and we're one of the largest business events venues in the UK with a 15,000 square metre footprint. So for any of you who've been to Trafalgar Square in London, that's about 12,000 square metres. We're bigger again than that. We've got 3 exhibition halls, 2 conference suites, numerous breakouts, and as you can see, we've got a glass-to-ceiling sort of ground-to-ceiling frontage on the front, so the space all feels naturally sunlit. We take great pride in our building, investing huge sums into our maintenance programme and ensuring a clean, contemporary look and feel. And we're independently owned, and we do take a different tack to a lot of other venues in that we manage all of our event supporting services. So we look after our own food and beverage, event production, cleaning, security, etc. And there's a reason for doing this. We like to control the service we run and ultimately be totally responsible and accountable to you as clients and organisers. We're a suitable space for plus of 500 delegates and exhibitions over 3,000 square metres, and we appeal to national scale trade exhibitions, association events and corporate conferences. And I think, to coin a phrase that actually might be a sort of an old marketing phrase, we kind of do tick all the boxes. So we're a smart venue, great team, central location, on-site parking, on-site hotels, and we sit adjacent to a convention quarter where you can shop, eat, drink, and go for a fabulous walk in Telford Town Park. But in terms of marketing a venue, much as the same can be applied to marketing an event. It's really important to communicate the functional benefits of a space, but to have a real creative flair in doing so, such that it will stop an organiser or a delegate in their tracks, inviting them to want to know more. So, following the extreme challenges of the COVID pandemic for all of us in the event world, at Telford we wanted to consider marketing in a new way, to really draw out all the reasons for the hosting of a great event. So this really brings me on to the power of the personal experience amongst the overall event experience when in a mass gathering. So during COVID, I worked remotely to manage our event diary. And when we returned to the venue as a live events came back for good, one of the first sounds I really appreciated and was so glad to hear was that hubbub of a large delegation having their sort of first tea and coffee and pastry of the day. There's just a noise on our concourse that you can all picture, but I think what really struck me about it was the sense of anticipation of a great day ahead. And I see plus of 130 events every year in our venue. And the human interaction is always so incredible. It's like a sort of beguiling enhancement of a normal working day. Really like a sort of an extra fizz of people electricity in the air. And I think it's a clear nod to you as creators and placers of events that this is sort of an experience we're all responsible for making happen. It's, I think, a really brilliant working world to be a part of. So, having been devoid of this live event experience, at TIC we wanted our first marketing campaign post-COVID to capture this essence described. And I was also really keen to reflect an individual's personal event experience in and amongst an overall event day. So our head of brand, Matthew, set to work on a marketing campaign brief with a focus on bringing human senses to life in an event and venue. And I'm going to talk you through the concept, and at the same time, I hope you will be able to easily see where you can apply the same techniques to building a campaign to market and sell an event too. So Telford's a great fit for a multi-day National Association conference with exhibition, and our aim was to market to this specific sector. The first step was the hard data graft. It is vital to do your homework to ensure that you're honing in on the right targets and reducing wasted effort, because there's no point promoting to people who aren't interested. We do have a pretty full annual diary, so our first step was to identify gaps and research large association events which may fit them. Once we had that data, we got the really fun part, the conceptual, imaginative, creative part of devising the campaign. And we put this to our brand agency whilst we took the time to name our objectives. So our objectives were to generate 3 leads and 1 conversion, that being because it would deliver a predicted returned income larger than the marketing investment. That the campaign would capture hearts and minds of the recipients, and that the campaign would achieve a PR reach by via its unique execution. So to chat you through the campaign, drawing upon that sense of event anticipation, we produced a hardback book of images depicting an event day, and we made this further unique by adding each of our targets' own branding. We booked a professional voiceover to talk through an engaging narrative describing a conference through the persona of the lead event organiser. And then we drew upon the use of ASMR, which stands for Auto-Sensory Meridian Response. This is a technique taken from business to consumer advertising, whereby you hear something that brings to life a sensation and helps place you in that setting. So if you think about birds chirping and picturing yourself in Telford Town Park, for example, this then allowed us to overlay and incorporate audio of an event day into the soundtrack. Placing the book and accompanying earbuds, our sales team hand-delivered a stylish box to over 30 recipients, which included instructions for how to play the interactive material. And to add a sense of intrigue, we decided to hold back on our venue name, lastly revealing this when the recipient was guided to a web landing page to find out more. This allowing for that much-needed data check that the marketing had been received and interacted with. As the venue name came at a secondary point, we devised a separate campaign and identity, Come to Your Senses. The web page then stated the venue and its many benefits with links to our main website. Primarily, therefore, this was a direct marketing campaign with the call to action and next steps achieved via an internet platform. So if you now put yourself in the mindset of the recipient, I'm going to play you the video equivalent version of the book and audio piece. It's about 7 minutes long. Let's see.
Welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us for this immersive event experience. Simply follow my voice and picture yourself in the scenes as they unfold. Start by picturing yourself waking up in absolute comfort, well rested from a good night's sleep. You grab a shower in your ensuite, invigorated by the strong cascade of water against your skin. Pulling open the curtains and seeing the greenery of your surroundings, you feel alert with a great sense of anticipation as you consider the significance of the day ahead. Making your way down for breakfast, you're greeted by the alluring smell of strong, fresh coffee. And you choose your breakfast, which is cooked to perfection. This on-site hotel is just steps away from the venue, and checking your phone, you're grateful for the time for a stimulating morning walk. The hotel gardens make way to an urban parkland before a vast tree-lined expanse unfolds before you. Taking in the early morning birdsong, you allow yourself to meander in this idyllic setting, and you reflect on the contrast between this tranquility and the energy and excitement that awaits you. As you walk back to civilization, you find yourself at the heart of a modern convention destination, which you secured all those months ago. Everything you need to make this event a success is right in front of you. Hotels, bars, restaurants, retail, and of course, the venue itself. Your committee unanimously agreed with your choice, and you feel confident your delegates, exhibitors, and guests are going to feel most welcome. You make your way over to the venue, and every considered element is catching your eye. It's flawless. A dedicated team has been hard at work, taking care of every detail, transforming this blank canvas, contemporary event space into your own bespoke setting. You know this team. They care, and you are reassured by the sense of certainty and professionalism. You see your event branding all around you, and the impact creates that sense of business occasion. This is home to your event. You know your delegates will find it simple to get here, no matter where they're traveling from or how they arrive. And you reflect, this venue really was an easy decision. Just outside, you notice the first delegates arriving in the car park, and you feel a rush of adrenaline. as you wait for them to experience this destination for the first time. This is going to be special. You know it. As the 1,000-strong delegation gathers in the reception gallery, a sense of energy fills the venue. People make their introductions, indulging in the array of arrival refreshments, and you work your way around the room, keen to catch up with faces old and new. There is an upbeat atmosphere, and your audience is swept up in the sharing of knowledge and company. They're happy to be here. Before you know it, Plenary 1 is announced. You observe the reactions as your delegates take in the expansive staging, the engaging visuals, and the captivating lighting. It's clear to you, this venue really gets large events. Their integrated in-house services have been so easy to work with, going above and beyond to deliver a professional space that translates to both your audience and the media covering your event. As the final delegates take their seats, the bustle of the crowd calms, replaced with a great sense of expectation as the lights dim and your keynote speaker takes to the stage. The sessions pass in a whirlwind of activity, every beat hitting its mark. This event is truly significant. You are engaging tomorrow's professionals, and your focus is on ensuring every speech, every breakout discussion, every panel debate delivers, sparking 1,000 thoughts and ideas in your delegates' minds. You're building something together here, something important. With the insight of new technologies, you're receiving real-time feedback, and the event is generating unprecedented levels of interaction and engagement. As your team pushes key moments to social channels, you know the entire industry will be taking notice. All eyes are on this event, and you couldn't be happier with what they're seeing. The post-lunch break comes around, and delegates are treated to a healthy twist on afternoon tea. You can see the delightful indecision play across their faces as they choose between sumptuous options. With the day running like clockwork, you reluctantly draw yourself away from this hive of activity, and your mind turns to the final preparations for the gala dinner. Behind the scenes, the venue's kitchen team is hard at work preparing the evening's meal. Everything has been meticulously planned, every guest's needs accommodated. They run like a well-oiled machine, enjoying their work against the hiss and crackle of delicious food. Evening arrives and your attendees are buzzing. The drinks reception is the perfect preamble for the evening to come. Taking in this spectacular hall, you appreciate the creative input from the venue team. The dining suite is a showstopper, a fitting finale to your national annual event. Your chair is the evening's ceremonies lead, a charismatic speaker, deftly taking guests through an exquisite three-course meal. Accompanied with dazzling entertainment, each delicious course is complemented by expertly paired drinks, and you savor this moment, proud of what you have achieved. This event day is coming to a close. Guests begin filtering out to the range of hotels which surround the venue, and you hold back to thank your team. Everything has been executed with such precision, and you feel absolutely certain that you fulfilled your event objectives and more. A nightcap awaits at the hotel, that lingering chance for you and your colleagues to keep the embers of the day alive. As you relax and zone out, already you know, you will be back here. This venue has made a real impression. It gives you everything you need to do your job well. Finally, as you retire to your room, you have a pleasing thought. For tomorrow, you have earned a session at the on-site spa, a soothing soak in the jacuzzi, and a moment to unwind in the steam room, before a few unhurried lengths of the softly lit pool. As you let yourself sink into the welcome invitation of your bed, colourful snapshots of the day play back in your mind like a kaleidoscope, delighted that every single moment delivered. Drifting to sleep with this sense of satisfied accomplishment, you promise yourself that you'll be back next year to somehow top this perfect event day.
So that is, as I mentioned, the video equivalent of what was the delivered box and earbuds to play that individually to the recipients. And I just wanted to chat you through the results. So the creative landed more than as hoped, capturing attention of both the recipients and trade journalists, from conference news, exhibition news, to event industry news, and with coverage by the Association of Event Venues and the Association of British Professional Conference Organisers. But even more importantly, it commercially delivered, and we achieved many times over our objectives, winning 16 leads, 5 contracted events, and 3 future diary option holds, which was a massive 320% in terms of return on investment, and a 21% measurable response rate to a direct marketing campaign, where the recognised average sits between about 2 and 9%. In addition, we had around 600 organic social posts on social media with a 4.5% click-through rate, where 1% is considered to be good. And bear in mind, this was not primarily an online campaign. And the image, as you can see, which was taken from X or Twitter on the screen, pinpoints some great feedback from one of our target associations, responding really well to the marketing points that we wanted to make, and the conversational interaction was pleasing to get. So I do hope this overview of a venue marketing campaign has inspired you and conjured up any imagination in terms of marketing creative that you're working on. And equally, hope that I've offered you some guidance for how to construct the component parts of marketing around sort of setting objectives, doing your research, working over and over at the data. That can be the hardest part of any marketing campaign because you want to rush to the next bit. But that really is sort of good advice to look at your data. And then seeking ways to measure your results from commercial and communication points of view. So as promised by Alistair, and sort of really important, and in conclusion, here are some broader takeaways and tips for the very best of events. So my first one is book early and avoid stress. Talk to your intended venue as early as possible about holding dates and understand their diary hold terms, because I don't think all venues probably work in the same way. I mean, it's really obvious to say, but a contract secures dates. So anything else may just be an option and potentially doesn't give you that event certainty that you want. Also, if you have an event which repeats and the sort of similar annual date patterns are important, again, chat with your venue. At Telford, we do tend to sort of try and put a signal on our diary where we know we've got a repeating event, but it's not an automated process. So really the human communications is kind of king here between organiser and venue. So my tip there, if you can see it, is emotions create the event memory. And I think in terms of event organisation, well, you have to do it all to deliver the event spectacle. And I can only imagine that the functional to-dos of putting together an event must be an awful lot of hard work. But I think thinking around the delights of the human experience at an event and taking your time to map the potential individual and emotional sort of interactions would be a really good idea. I mean, if you think of any event you've attended which kicks off an amazing memory, that kind of warm glow, it will likely be a collective of positive engagements with your senses: sound, sight, touch, taste and smell, combined with who you're with, and that really will make the difference between a good and an exceptional event. Tip 3, for me, this kind of leads on from the last, but sort of think about your event through the eyes of your audience. And this would hone in on your delegates' journey from how they are considering booking onto your event to their attending day and then beyond. As a business class venue, standards throughout our client journey need to be really high and very much above standard. And we review our customer touch points on a regular basis to ensure that we're providing that optimum service and communicating with our organisers and audiences in a way which works for us all. So my tip 4 is tell your venue what your event objectives are. It may sound obvious, but let us know what you want to achieve with your event. If we know what you've got in mind, then we can bring this to life with our operational colleagues via our own internal comms, and ensuring that our team becomes an active and contributing part of the event excellence and outcomes that you're aspiring to. And then my final takeaway here is about the power of events. A couple of observations here is, firstly, think about an event that you've placed or created. What happened after the live day or the live days? A kind of sort of happy tide that an event was delivered well and move on to the next. I think we can all be quite guilty of that, because there's such an adrenaline to get an event live that almost the bit that you promised you'd do after, we can sometimes forget to do or don't even want to do. But I think, have a think about that post-event sponge effect. What more can you do to squeeze out of the event in terms of content and delegate interaction that you sustain that event experience past the live days? Because prolonging your delegates' interest may help the sell of the next or the repeat event. And then more broadly then, as we sit here today as part of the events industry, the live events industry, personally, how can you become ambassadors for all the good which events deliver? It's obviously an important responsibility for all of us to sell up how powerful an event is. At TIC, we see the start of longer-term outcomes generated by the live event experience. So in our venue, we've seen future Olympians, we see future professionals, we see future business leaders, and on a really lovely human level, we see delegates and audiences enjoying emotive and memorable moments. I think that's a really powerful thing to be a part of, and one that we can all talk up and share on social media platforms and through opportunities such as today at the Corporate Hospitality Show, which really is, for me, the perfect way to say thank you for listening, and thank you very much to yourselves and the organisers for having me. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Alison. Oh, sorry. Yeah, thanks so much, Alison. We're on time, so I'm afraid I'm going to be a real Grinch and not allow questions. But do you know what? Alison's sticking around. Yep. You guys are welcome to come and have a chat. The presentation will be online and things like that. And please do engage, because I do think this marketing and especially modern day marketing is a really, really important subject for us to better promote our events. Before you go, I should, again, just say a massive thanks to the guys at Lighthouse Events for the support around the AV. We have one more session left, I'm afraid, but it's a really, really critical one. It's a subject I'm personally incredibly passionate about. I hope that accessibility gets the attention it deserves, and we've got Orla, who's going to come and present for us, who's certainly going to start challenging what accessibility looks like going forward. So I hope you guys are available, and if you can, we'll come back for that one. It's a really important subject by a really, really good speaker. If you can't, it'll all be available afterwards, and I hope you have a really good show. But one more round of applause for Alison before you go. Thank you.